Hello everyone, I'm Agent Ghost and welcome to the Archives, and before we get into the build breakdown, I just want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving weekend, and I hope everyone has had a wonderful, safe travels to meet family and friends, along with having a safe and good time getting all your shopping done with Black Friday, Cyber Monday. If you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, I just hope you had a wonderful and amazing weekend. That's all I wanted to share with you guys. Now, without further ado, let's move on to the build breakdown. So starting things off with a specialization, I'm using the gunner specialization for the extra fire rate, reload speed, and armor on kill it provides. That's pretty much it, and it has great synergy throughout the rest of this build. Now, moving on from the specialization into the weapons, let's talk about the star of the show. The Lexington named assault rifle is just absolutely my new favorite named assault rifle. I'm loving this thing with the range and accuracy and how you can use it much longer range. It's just incredible. Now, there are my core attributes. If you want to pause, take a look. The only one I want to make note of is the regular attribute with plus 10% damage targets out of cover, which is the highest multiplicative attribute in the game currently. If you have damage to armor, that will also work. Now, for the talent, I've re-rolled for Optimist, and what that does is weapon damage is increased by 3.5% for every 10% ammo missing from the magazine. So I have 50 bullets in my magazine, so when I get down to the last 10 bullets, I will have plus 14% weapon damage, which is just amazing. For all we have to do is fire our weapon in order to do that. Another talent that I kept going back and forth in the testing of this build is Killer, which also works extremely well with this assault rifle. So I would try both those out and see what you lean on. I'm going to probably keep going back and forth until I settle on one or another. And then here are the mods. If you are all interested, you can pause and use what I'm using. The only one I want to make note of is in the muzzle slot. You could change that to crit hit damage or crit hit chance if you want. I have it for optimal range because under optimal range it has plus 47 with that 50%. I think it's like 33 or 32 without it. And what that does is our damage drop off starts at 48 meters but up to 47 meters we have our full damage output, which helps with, again, how stable and accurate this Lexington assault rifle is. It's absolutely amazing. I'm calling it the Elmo's Junior because it's basically the named variant of the St. Elmo's exotic, which is one of my favorite exotic assault rifles in the game. So it's just absolutely incredible. And to pair with it, I am using the Dark Winter SMG, which we are using a striker gear set. So if you don't want to use this, I recommend an AC-12 fully automatic shotgun or the two named variants, Rock and Roll and Lefty. But I'm using this because with both weapons, we can build up stacks perfectly fine and not have to use that, and just to change things up. Plus, anything that gets in close quarters with me, this thing just shreds. And now let's go over the stats. So in the regular attribute, again, damage targets out of cover, and then I'm using it for the talent Perfect Killer, which killing an enemy with a critical hit grants plus 90% crit hit damage for 10 seconds, which is just insane on top of already the crit hit damage we're going to be producing and other stacks that we get with this build. Once again, there are the mods. If you are all interested in what I'm using and want to use what I'm using, please pause and take a look now. The only other thing I want to actually bring note of the Dark Winter is that is a Dark Zone exclusive, so you can only get this in the Dark Zone vendors, name caches, and conflict caches. Those are the ways that I'm aware of how to get it. If anyone knows any other ways, please leave a comment down below and I will pin that comment, and along with any other Dark Zone exclusive stuff I bring up in this video. Now moving on to the pistol, I'm using the Regulus exotic pistol. This is a pain to get, and I'm just using it as more of a gimmick for it. It's nothing special. If you wanted to optimize this build further, I would say use any pistol you want with the finisher talent or the orbit pistol, which is again a Dark Zone exclusive from the same things from Dark Winter. But yeah, finisher talent works exceedingly well with this build, so I'd recommend using that if you don't want to use the Regulus. And what the gimmick does is it has to do with the talent, which I will go over that when we get to the backpack portion of the video. So just keep that in mind. And once again, it's a gimmick. It's not something that's going to constantly happen. So Please use whatever you want, and that goes with the disclaimer I like to use with all my build videos. Please take this as a base, this whole build as a base template, and make any changes or things that you want to change, like absolutely do so. And whether that's the specialization, weapons, or gear set and skills, please make any changes that you see fit, want, and experiment, have fun. That's what I like to do. And with those changes, please let me know down in the comments below, and I'll give you a shout out if I use those changes or try them out and put them in a future video and stuff like that. So yeah, please share with me what you like to do. So anyway, moving on to the gear, I'm using the Striker gear set, which is absolutely amazing. One of the best gear sets in the game, arguably the best. And when you have 2 pieces of the Striker gear set, it will give you plus 15% weapon handling, which affects on any weapon. You can go to weapon handling. It affects accuracy, stability, and reload time specifically. So that really helps with all those stats. And then for the 3 pieces, you get plus 15% rate of fire. It just makes us shred through enemies that much quicker, which I love. And then for 4 pieces, we get Striker's Gamble talent. And what Striker's Gamble does is weapon hits increase total weapon damage by 0.65%, stacking up to 100 times. 1 stack is lost per second between 0 and 50 stacks. 2 stacks are lost per second between 50 and 100 stacks. So when we get 100 stacks, we will get plus 65% weapon damage, which is just amazing and incredible. In the now to go over the attributes, and the core attribute, I have plus 15% weapon damage. In the regular attribute, I have plus 6% crit hit chance rerolled and a plus 12% crit hit damage mod. Now for the Striker gloves, I have plus 15% weapon damage in the core attribute and plus 6% crit hit chance rerolled in the regular attribute. For the Striker knee guards, I have 170,000 armor re-rolled in the core attribute, and so it's an armor core, and then plus 12% crit hit damage in the regular attribute. I just want to make note, I have 1.1 million in the bottom left corner, you can see, of armor there. That's the sweet spot that you want to go for, because again, once I get to the backpack, it how much armor we have affects the talent on the backpack. We'll just say that for now, and then after I'm done with this piece, we'll go over the backpack. So for the Striker holster, I in the core attribute have 11% weapon damage, and in the regular attribute, I have plus 6% crit hit chance re-rolled. Now for the backpack that I've been talking about, I'm using currently the Liquid Engineer backpack, which once again, it is a Dark Zone exclusive. So Dark Zone vendors, named, and conflict caches. In the brand set bonus, we get plus 1% armor regen, which is not that big a deal. It will just help with little chip damage here and there, but it's not why we're using this backpack. In the core attribute, I have 139,000 armor. For the regular attribute, I have plus 6% crit hit chance rerolled, 8.4% headshot damage, and a plus 12% crit hit damage mod. If you do get a roll where I would replace the 8.4% headshot damage with crit hit damage, and then have all the same stats if you are able to do that. This is just the best I have for now. Now, I'm using, again, this whole backpack, which has great synergy, and the main survivability for this build is perfect Bloodsucker talent. And what that does is killing an enemy adds and refreshes a stack of plus 12% bonus armor for 10 seconds. Max stacks is 10, so we can get plus 120% bonus armor after we get 10 stacks, which is just amazing. Regular Bloodsucker, if you don't have the Liquid Engineer, gives you plus 10%, which is still amazing, and I would recommend that on a Seska backpack. If you need crit hit chance, just use all the same stats you see here, other than replacing the headshot damage with crit hit damage. The Group Summer backpack for crit hit damage, and the Walker Harris for regular damage is what I'd recommend. Just make sure you have Bloodsucker and the talent, and the rest of the stats like I mentioned. That's it for the backpack, and now that we've talked about that, I'm going to show you the gimmick kind of thing with the Regulus to build. If they're grouped up and close with one another, you can create explosions to then get multiple stacks of the bonus armor, as you can see, which is just kind of handy and fun, but it's not the end of the world. Like I'm saying with this, it is a gimmick. So because most enemies aren't grouped up that close or dispersed when you're in combat. And real quick, so I just wanted to show that off after seeing the backpack. I'm going to go over the chest, and then I'm going to show you how easy it is to build stacks with weapons. So I'm using the Fenris chest backpack, or the Fenris chest, my mistake, for the brand set bonus of plus 10% assault rifle damage. In the core attribute, I have plus 12.6% weapon damage. In the regular attributes, I have plus 12% crit hit damage, plus 6% crit hit chance re-rolled, and a plus 12% crit hit damage mod, along with the talent Obliterate roll on my chest piece, which what Obliterate does is critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 10 seconds, stacks up to 20 times. And with both the weapons we're using, we have getting critical hits is no issue whatsoever, so you can count that plus 20% weapon damage on top of the 65% we're getting from Striker, along with all the other things that we're building up. So this build has plenty of damage and good, really strong survivability on top of it. So, for example, building stacks, I want this unnamed, and easy. Once again, if you are using the Dark Winter or want an alternative, please use the Ouroboros SMG or an AC-12 fully automatic shotgun, which is what you generally want to use with these types of builds, is that a full auto AC-12, but you can still build stacks perfectly fine. So as you see, I'm just shooting the named target, which is a boss or mini boss, and already able to kill it with not even building any stacks. Now that I'm building stacks, you can see I'm almost maxed out in stacks. For the Striker, you can see the Gatling gun with the green bar on the bottom of my UI with how much ammo I have and everything. That is the Striker gear, so we're close to 100 stacks. And then the fist that's blowing up, that's Obliterate. So those are both our stacks that you can keep an eye on, and we're at max stacks. And you can just see with both weapons, I'm just shredding through the named target, which is just absolutely insane. So that's how you want to you build stacks. Use either weapon. Use the Lexington in mid to long range, which I'm loving it for. And then if enemies get in your face or your most close quarters, then definitely use the Vector. Now for the skills, I'm using the Striker drone mainly as a distraction and to get people's attention. Plus, it just gives you that little extra damage. You don't have to use this, but I liked having it to be more mobile and get the attention of enemies and doing damage. So that's why I'm using it. If you don't want to use this, I recommend using the Assault Turret is a great alternative, or Decoy and Banshee Pulse that you get from the Gunner specialization. Those are the alternatives I'd recommend for the Striker drone. And then for my second skill, I'm using the Reviver Hive. Pretty self-explanatory. It's just an extra life for any unforeseen circumstances or enemies get lucky shots or something or what have you. It's just really nice to have the extra life. But if you don't want that, again, you could use the Assault Turret, Decoy, Banshee Pulse, and even a shield if you wanted. So those are my recommendations for skills. Now we're going to move on to the stats and then final gameplay footage. So for the Lexington Assault Rifle, I have 100,301 weapon damage, 50% crit hit chance, 105% crit hit damage, 83.4% headshot damage, and 21% health damage. The only thing I want to make note of is 50% for the crit hit chance is the minimum you want to go for. I would recommend if you get 60, that's great, but just aim for 50, and I left it at 50 in case people want to use like the Seska backpack with plus 10% to get the cap of 60. Along with, here's my Dark Winter stats. I'm not going to go over all of them, but if you want to pause and take a look, just if you're curious, there's my Dark Winter weapon stats. I'm just going to show the Dark Winter for that. Now moving on to the offensive, I have 63.6% all weapon damage bonus, 40% assault rifle damage bonus, 15% submachine gun damage bonus, and 15% shotgun damage bonus. Friendly reminder, these 15%, including the 15% in the assault rifle, is from my gunner specialization. I'd make sure to reallocate all of those to the weapons you're using. So if you are using an AC-12 shotgun, make sure to keep that. But if I wanted to, I could put that in my pistol. Not a big deal though. Oops, backed out of that. Now, moving on from that, we've already gone over the gear, talents, and brand set bonuses. So it's just the defensive, and then we're done. So 1,066,267 armor is what I have. It's bottom left says 1.1 million. That's the exact number. It rounds up to the nearest 500,000. So just again, try and aim for as close as you can to 1.1 million, because Liquid Engineer's bonus armor we get is based off of our overall armor. So the more armor we have, the bigger bonus we'll get. I have 106,000 armor on kill because of the gunner specialization once again, so that much more survivability, and then 10,000 armor regen, which is not that big a deal. Just kind of ignore it. It'll just help with small chip damage, if anything, if it helps at all. 341,649 max health, and that is it for the defense stats. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching up to this point. Please take care. Have a wonderful rest of your day / night, and bye.